6:04. Open the meeting, 2 members present. John Lara, 2 selectmen, the fire chief, and finance committee present. First thing we got is accept the minutes for 3/15/13.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
What do you want to do? Go to Jim next.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
All right. Fire chief is here to talk to us about the alarm system.
Yeah. Last 2 weeks, Laura asked me to come down and kind of go over the fire alarm systems and all the facilities that you have. And the first day we concentrated on the main building here on Central Street. And other than a minor glitch that was easily corrected, the fire alarm system is functional in this building, which is a good thing considering. Last Friday, we went to the well houses and the treatment facilities that you have at the 3 wells, and that wasn't as good news. Actually, there's some problems. What we found out is, other than get the numbers right.
2.
Well 2, there's a fire alarm system there, but it's a local alarm. And that could go off and no one will know about it. And you do have some important stuff in there. I made some recommendations to Laura that you look at putting it on the central receiving station, kind of with your intrusion alarm.
No, that goes through like the telephone.
That would go through the telephone. The system right now isn't designed for that, and there isn't a outside strobe light that flashes. So if it went off, somebody driving by wouldn't even know something was going on until the smoke started pouring out of it or the flames went through. The other thing with having a system in that building, and even in the pump house, which we found out had nothing in it, that if they're working by themselves in there, and they got something in their eyes or something like that, they really can't fumble with a phone to try to get help. If they pulled the fire alarm, we would come. So it would be important with what you have in there to get some kind of a system that monitors it 24 hours a day. And that would be same with the pump house, where if you had electric fire in the pump motor, by the time we would know about it, it would be too late to salvage anything in there. After we went to that one, we went to well 3 on Boxford Road, which is a much more elaborate system. We did have a couple of years ago, there was a water pipe that broke and fried the fire alarm panel that was in there. But what we found out with that one was it did work, but the only one that was notified that it went into alarm was whoever's carrying the pager. So it doesn't go to a central receiving station. I don't know if it ever
say
did.
central receiving, does that mean like the police station?
Well, they have a system there, or it could be ADT, Family Security. There's a whole bunch of different.
What do you recommend, the police station or the phone company?
The police station would probably be the easiest one because that goes directly to the police station. However, I don't know the process that you would have to do to get tied into that one. You'd have to talk to Chief Barker because he operates the dispatch center. That would be the most, realistically, the best one to have, because if it goes to somebody else, it goes to a central receiving station, and then they call.
Right. So I mean, we've lost a minute.
At least a minute. Whereas if it goes right to the police station, they tone us out right away. So it's more of an instantaneous alarm. That really needs to be taken care of for the same reasons that the other one should have the same type of operation. And again, if they're in there by themselves, if they get hurt, all they have to do is fumble to find the pull station, and we're going to come out there. And again, that one's off the beaten path some. And even a strobe light would do very little to get somebody's
If we had a
attention.
strobe light, we'd need it out in the end of the street.
Well, it'd be out where it could be visible out the street. So that one, the pump house is way too way too far off the road. I wouldn't worry about that one. Whereas the one with well 2, you can see it from the road, and that would make sense to put one there. And then we went to 5. I'll get the numbers right eventually. That one has the biggest problem. That one doesn't work at all. Absolutely does not work.
I mean, all that'll be taken care of though with the new plan online, correct?
Yeah,
Well, it's part of the article. We need to do this immediately. This is not something, we can wait.
right. And plus, if you're going to still use the building for
We are.
anything,
So,
storage,
yeah.
something like that, it's still important to have it monitored.
No, I just figured when they did
Yeah.
the update of the
Yeah.
whole station, that would all be in.
But with doing all that, considering that 2 of the wells are off the beaten path, the earlier we're notified of it, the less likely there's going to be substantial damage to the facilities. So that one definitely needs some work. Now, we did trip the pull station in that one, and I climbed the ladder and set off the smoke alarm that was on the ceiling. And it was funny, whereas it wouldn't go into alarm when I set the pull station off with a smoke detector. But when I went to reset the panel, it cleared the smoke detector. So there's something inside the panel that's probably, fried. And I have a feeling with the type of, the chemical that you put into the system there has something to do with the electronics in it. Probably been, coated with the powder and just don't work anymore. So those panels that you have in there now, they don't make those anymore. And you'd end up with more like what you have in well 3, which is a fully addressable panel. You can put a couple of zones in, whereas the ones in well 5 and at well 2 are simple one zone.
So
panel.
what do you figure the first thing is? Talk to the chief at the police station first and see if we can get on that system before we start calling around to the phone
Yeah, I
companies?
mean, I would suggest you do both and find out which one is. I don't know if there's a monitoring fee with the one at the police station, and that would be something that you'd need to know, is if they may be charging you more than, say, an ADT or something on that line. You can shop around, get your best price.
Can you check with that?
Ideally, that would be the best one to have, but I don't know
Check with the
how that whole thing shakes out.
So Roy, what we're doing Friday at 1 o'clock, John and I, Jim Broderick, Chief Barker, Rob, are going to meet with the Instant Alarm, who's doing the system now, and they have the report also. So they're going to go through our contracts, and create a proposal. And then maybe we can look into other companies and look at the SCADA system, what the SCADA system
No, the instant alarm, they can go either way, hook up to like the police station
Oh, definitely.
or the phone.
Yeah, but they're the electronics.
They just do the wiring and
Right.
hook it.
And they also have, John, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a central station too. So they're gonna do a proposal for us while we have all the players in the room and talk to, of course.
One of the
Chief
things that
Barker.
we discussed was to put like a heat detector in each of the pump houses and tie it into the panels for the treatment facilities out of each well. Would be the easiest way, and that way it'll give you some idea if there's something that is going wrong in there. I wouldn't put a smoke alarm in either one of them because they're not manned all the time, and spiders have a tendency of crawling up in there, and they would cause false alarms by moving around. Whereas the heat detector will be set for a temperature that's above the ambient temperature in the room. So if it gets a little warm in there in the summertime, when it's running, it won't go off, because it got hot in there. But they'll set it so that it'll go off at a temperature above what the normal temperature would be in there at its worst case. And I would suggest you do that one there and at well 3, because that's the same thing there. There's nothing in that building either. And tie it into the treatment plant.
So you're gonna be there Friday when the
Yes.
alarm company is there, so
Yeah.
I mean, you can
Right.
suggest all this stuff to them, that's what we need.
Right, we're not looking for an overly complex system, but just something that's not that big a building, so you don't really need an elaborate system, but something that's gonna work. And one of the concerns I would have is try to get a panel where, that's gonna be somewhat resilient to the environment inside with, you know, that, I don't know,
The chemical.
the chemicals,
the
that
line,
you know, the line,
it just-
you know, we gotta get something that
corrosion,
can kinda,
yeah.
be a
Well,
little
they must
resistant.
make something, I mean, all these other
I'm
towns
sure
must
they
have
do.
something, you know.
Or even if it's just a case to put it in, to kinda keep the, dust from getting in there.
Right.
Cause I have a feeling that's what happened to that one. Cause, it just, over time, it just, got coated up and they're very finicky.
So we need to get this thing all working.
Right,
gotta
so we do have
connect
an
with this.
article
Yeah.
for this.
The only thing I can think of is that, do we have, what's the plan for the new treatment plant? Do we have an alarm system going on
Yeah,
there?
there is going to be a system put in there, there is a sprinkler system going in there, so that's all part of the plan.
Mhm.
I did see that, and
Yeah, I have it here.
I believe there will be a fire alarm, a lot more elaborate fire alarm system in there than you do in the other buildings. We're gonna have in the other buildings. It's a little bit more complex and a bigger building, so.
Does it make a difference whether that alarm in the treatment plant is put in by Instant Alarm or another company other than?
No,
No.
not really. I mean, the thing that would make it easy for you guys is that whoever is doing the monitoring have one monitoring company instead of 3 or 4 different ones. It just make it easier for you to control it. Who puts them in doesn't make a difference.
Well, you would want it to be kind of consistent throughout the whole
You would.
department.
The thing is with the fire alarms is that they got to go by a certain code, which every installer and every manufacturer has to meet. And so if company X does it or company Z does it, they're going to put it in the same way. It's got to go in the same certain way. The same components have to be.
You must have to go in and inspect it after.
I will go in and do, what they'll do is they'll come in, pull a permit with the fire department and the electrical inspector. And they'll present plans to me, I'll go through them and make sure that the appropriate stuff goes where. And they start doing the work. When they rough in the wiring, the electrical inspector does his inspection to make sure that they're in the proper conduit and the walls are breached the appropriate way. And I could go out and do a rough-in inspection for detector locations, make sure that everything's going where they were supposed to on the plan. And then when it's all said and done, the system goes online, they've done all their tests, and then they have the dialer put in for to send the alarm out to whoever the central alarm company receiving station is, and we'll do an acceptance test of it. And what we'll do is we'll flow the sprinkler system first, and then we'll do, not every pull station, not every detector gets tested, but we'll pull random ones to see if they go off and they show up on the enunciator panel. And the final one that we do is we'll take it off test and send in an alarm to see how long it takes for the central receiving station to send the alarm to the dispatch center. If it's with the system that they have in the PD, we'll get that within 30 seconds.
I'd rather see it at the
Yeah.
police station if possible.
If it goes to somewhere else, it could be another 30 to 35 seconds for the.
There's a lot of time to get something burning.
Yes, it could. But if it doesn't come in within a reasonable amount of time, it fails. You know, we have to decide what was the delay? Was it the phone line? Was it the company?
You're looking at, like say Blacksville, you're looking at 8 minutes. From
Oh,
the time you guys call
yeah.
before you even get it.
It all depends on traffic, time of day, and there's a lot of variables.
No, but I
yeah,
mean, it's at least 8 minutes.
at least, even when we're in the station, it's about an 8-minute ride. So for every second before we get the call, I'll just add it on to it. But I would go through it and make sure that it works, and then we'll all know that it's a functioning system when I put my name on the paper.
So just so you know too, I looked at the treatment plant plans. The fire section is really the building itself. So anything that we're doing now at the wells will get tied in through the paging system, John, and catch up with Sheridan on the SCADA. But it's not, this is not duplication. We're not gonna, you know, we need to do this now, and they'll tie what we're doing now into the treatment plant SCADA system. And we can clarify that on Monday, John, when we have our treatment plant meeting.
Okay.
But when I looked at the plan, there's a whole fire section in here, Jim. I'll make a copy for you.
Yeah, I've already
Oh,
seen
you
it.
saw the
Yeah.
plan? So it's really this building
Yeah.
that they talk about, the sprinklers and the alarms, and that I could tell. I couldn't see that what we're doing now.
No, what we're doing now has nothing to do with that at
Right,
all.
so we're not gonna, you know, this is money well spent, and that's why I think it needs to be done immediately.
Yeah, and then all the stuff that's being done in there is already in the price of the
Oh,
building.
the treatment plant, right.
So, I'm just thinking about consistency, you know, whether it's an XYZ company putting it in the pump houses, like, I don't know what instant alarm uses, versus what the treatment plant's already planning on.
See, we have, yeah.
So, I mean, rather than, you know, if it's consistent, then you're gonna have one person come and service it. Or, you know, you don't need to figure out if there's two people, I mean, two companies that can service the XYZ brand or
Mhm.
Exactly.
the Y brand.
The one thing I can say is that there's several different manufacturers of fire alarm panels, and I don't know who the general contractor, if that's even gone out to
We
bid
haven't
yet.
gone to bid yet on that.
You
yeah.
can specify a type of panel that you
That we
want
want
to
a
use
certain one.
Yeah.
to keep consistent with what you already have in the system. When you go to replace the other panels, that's where it's going to be more important that you do, because you have two different panels right now. If Company A put the system in, that doesn't necessarily mean that Company A has to do the service work on it. You can hire whoever you want through your procurement to do that service. They all pretty much can buy whatever panel that's out there. When it comes to fire alarm panels, if you go to a game mall or something like that, they have their own installers. But most of the companies, they can get panels from any manufacturer, and they're all going to be fairly consistent on their capabilities. It doesn't, for the fire department, it doesn't make that much difference as to what one. They all pretty much work alike. If you hire someone to do your service work, they can work on any panel. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Do you have any that you recommend better than the others?
I can't really tell you that.
I'm just thinking that, you know, if you
Keep
have.
everything the same with everything.
Well,
It makes
technician,
sense.
we have a problem.
Call
Fire
one
department
person.
says, go get your contract with the warranty guy. He comes out, oh, well, this isn't the one that we put in, it's another one. So then you're getting, you know what I mean? It's just.
It makes sense, and it makes a lot of sense to try to do that, but sometimes you kind of tie, your hands are tied sometimes. So cost is another thing too. You
Yeah.
got really cheap ones and you got really expensive ones, and you want to be somewhere in the middle. You don't want the most expensive one. You certainly don't want the cheapest one, because the cheapest one is going to give you headaches. The one in the middle of the road is the one you really want to go after, because it's reliable. It's fairly inexpensive in relative terms, and you don't want to have to keep calling the service guy in.
Right, yeah, we hope we would make the decision right to begin with.
Right.
The other thing is that maybe we can get the clerk of the works at this meeting Friday to just see what the,
Sure, you can bring them all.
you know,
You can
this is
talk.
what we're planning, is this, you know, get another opinion on this thing and see if we get, you know.
Yeah. I don't know if they have it out to bid yet, as like Jim said.
Yeah, I don't know if they've gotten that far.
I have in here, Tim, is the equipment. There's a whole fire section. They tell all the parts. Let's see, wait, hold on. Section 9. So here's a list of their instrument. We clearly know what the panels are.
Yeah,
We know everything they're gonna install on the whole fire, sprinklers, They give us diagrams, and they give us a list of all, so we can bring this to our instant alarm guy and say, this is what's going in the treatment plant. They're the they know too.
Well, they already figured out what they're gonna buy.
Right. We just
That's-
don't know the
that's
vendor,
okay.
because we're not procuring for the treatment plant. It's
I
part of
know.
the contract, so we have no say.
No, it would just be
Yeah.
nice if everything
Right.
was on the same
Yeah,
thing, so you got one company that, you know, whatever brands it is, they
Instant
They
alarm,
sell it
Right.
everywhere, you know?
is instant alarm putting the fire and the security in?
We haven't gone there yet.
Okay.
We're just getting together on Friday, and we're gonna
Okay.
do our proposal,
Okay.
and we're going to, present this at town meeting. And, we hope that the town will support this article,
Yeah.
because we desperately need to get this done. So, if they say no, that's another story.
well, you got systems that are in there now that aren't functioning, which is against the fire code, safety code, so. I mean, you're kinda
We're in a bad place
in a
right
bad
now.
place, I mean,
So who put them in, the ones that aren't working now, is that instant alarm?
John, sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't here, they weren't instant alarm tabs on the fire panels, so we don't know that.
The one on Station 3 is.
Because when we went through, they said they put tabs,
Yeah.
they
The
didn't
other
have,
two stations.
they didn't
I think,
have
were
their tabs on
contractors,
it.
Vendors,
Okay,
whoever they were.
okay. So we,
So we'll have to get
Station 3
instant
was,
alarm, we'll have to get.
yeah, because we had the panel got fried in the water, so they put the new panel
Instant
in.
alarm.
And that's the one that you're probably gonna end up putting in the other one too,
Make sure
that type
everything's
panel.
okay.
Right.
All right, I'm on it, I'm on it.
okay, so that's in the works.
Yep, so, Jim thank you for coming.
Yeah, if you need any other, I'll offer, I told Laura this, if you need any assistance in any of this stuff, the number is, I'm there Monday to Friday at the 4, I can help you out any way I can.
Okay.
There was something that came up, Chief, about, I don't know, maybe a month ago, and it was having a lockable box outside
Yes, I'm gonna, they came in,
They're
those,
here.
they're in, I'm gonna, on Friday, after we're done with the alarm, we'll find a place to put those.
Okay, so that's like a code we gotta follow.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's something you're required to provide, and having them on the buildings makes it easier for us. The only thing that, if the chemicals inside change, because you're supposed to have a copy of those too, if the chemicals in the building change and you get new MSDSs, you have to notify us so we can put the appropriate ones in the box and take the old ones out. If they're
So
fairly
these boxes big enough for the MSDA?
Yes, it's a weatherproof, so they can be outside and the MSDSs won't get wet. They can't be tampered with. It's a fairly robust box that they're in. And they'll always be there. Giving me a copy doesn't help much if it stays at the station or if it's in a locked cabinet around here. These
But you
boxes,
still have what we have.
yes.
It's okay, so. I think they changed it, they call them MSDs now or something, aren't they?
Well, I'm still calling them MSDSs.
I know. Me
It's-
too.
They change everything, and it takes 20 years for the terminology to catch up with everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and you got any questions about any of that stuff that I can offer assistance, don't hesitate to call.
Okay.
All right,
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Jim.
have fun your next meetings.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Now you wanna go back here,
Yep,
budget?
yep. So Tim, you can speak to that? Budget?
We went to Monday's meeting, Laura, John, and I, and we presented our budget. There was many questions. I guess the general flavor of the meeting was that we have more and more people that are more involved with looking at the budget, and due to the the panel that we, had the previous week, that, everybody was pretty much on board with our budget, and it's heavily scrutinized. We made quite a bit of chopping, and, everybody, had a piece of that, that type of duty, and, we came up with the budget. I think that they were pretty happy with our budget. There was one thing that they were gonna modify. What was that?
So I did do that. Tim is on the salary, Form 4. I added the new secondary operator. I need to get a hold of Debbie and the fiscal team on the whole this sheet I think is gonna change between now and, the next, our next meeting, because we really gotta go through this, with them.
They're kind of coming up with the numbers. We have to live with their numbers, so.
Right,
After tonight, we're pretty much done looking at this.
right, so we're just waiting for direction on the salaries. I
I mean,
didn't
it's
get.
union anyway, so we have no control of that anyway, correct?
Yeah, we get numbers in there, but,
Yeah.
as far as we're concerned, I
It
think
might
it's
go up or
okay.
down depending on negotiations and, the positions. So,
Doesn't usually go down.
it doesn't usually go up either. So, right, John? We've been level funded, the 1%, 1% maybe.
Yeah.
So it might go up, $200. That's when I looked at it. So it's not gonna change that much.
I thought that there was gonna be some number we were gonna put in for the stabilization fund.
So that I'm waiting for direction from Debbie on that, how they're gonna write the article. I think that's gonna come off of Form 1, where it says stabilization fund. I don't have any dollars in there.
Yeah.
I think that will come off this year and go back on in FY 15. But I was waiting for Debbie on that one.
Is it possible that she's gonna come up with a number, or?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna put with town meeting, we're gonna have an article.
So that number will go into this, and then,
The following year,
okay.
the following year.
So this is the first time we're having a stabilization fund.
Right,
Okay.
right. So that's why we're not sure how Form 1 is gonna handle it,
Okay.
depending on how the article's written. So I made those changes. I didn't think there was anything else, Tim?
Well, they were very happy with the format, that now that there's more sections, and correct me if I'm wrong, John or Laura, that they like the detail that we put in here this time, and then we reorganized some of the categories to make it more under the wages versus expenses part of the thing, and then the new treatment plan. So I think everybody, was pretty much, happy with the way we presented. It was clear. It allows people to get more involved and more questions or whatever. And we have more detail now. What were your feelings, Sean?
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot more broken down here on 45. Makes it a little more evident where the money's going.
Yeah. So the only thing we had to put in there was change the salaries, and then that's gonna change again, because,
Right.
so I recommend that we approve this budget. I make a motion to approve it.
Good.
I thought we did last week.
We're gonna do it again.
Oh, I meant, I was second.
I hope this is the last time.
Oh, I
No,
meant,
you're gonna do it again one more time next week, probably.
all in favor?
Aye. We've approved this how many times, Ray?
Well, I was gonna say, I thought this was the same thing what we did last week.
Well, I think we revise and we go back and forth, and I think the good part about this is that we're working very close with the downtown area, and then we're going back and forth, we're approving it, and they might modify something, we're all working together now, so. Not that we weren't before, but we're just, you know, we're closer, okay? So the new rates, that didn't change at all,
That didn't
So the
change.
rates didn't change
No.
from the last time we approved it.
50, 75.
I don't know, is there anything else that you can think of, John or Laura?
No?
Okay.
What else we got? We're all done with the budget, correct?
Yeah.
So we get the vehicle use policy.
So we had a vehicle use policy last week come up before us, and then John wasn't here at the time. So the vehicle use policy we brought up, or I brought up. Do we have any notes on that, Lauren?
And I brought, where I said bring some things in.
Yeah.
There's 4 different things here for you to take a look at, for setting up for the mileage and for the gas, and to give us something to go by. I kind of like the book idea myself. And you can get it with a duplicate thing, and 1 copy would stay in the vehicle, and 1 would go to Laura each day. And we could mark it down, you know, what they took for gas, for oil, repairs that are coming up or needed, they can put down, the tires are getting down, you know, that kind of stuff.
So you would actually, the driver would fill.
We make 1 out each day,
Tear it
and
out.
then turn 1 in to Laura at the end of the day, and she'd have her gas slip plus that, and the mileage.
Gotta be creating something that's a little bit, well, a lot more paper. Do some companies just keep that in the vehicle?
Yeah,
So it's
what it
filled
is 2 copies there. You could take, you get either 2 or 3.
Oh, okay, I didn't see that.
Right, and then, you know, 1 can stay with the vehicle, and 1 can get turned in,
I got you.
you know, or there's 2 back ones there too, just some ones that we can mini rep, no, on the other sheet underneath the long sheet there. That we could make up and kind of revamp over if we wanted to, where it's got the stat and mileage, this one's here, right there.
Oh,
You know, just to give us something, you know, or something like this, I mean, we could change this to, you know, these 2 words here, if we wanted something like that. I just kind of like the idea of this here that we did. It's you get 2 copies and
well, I make a motion that we give this to John and Laura and then come out with something that might be more clear or easy with all the staffing needs and all that stuff to adopt.
the only good thing about the book one there, if we get out with the big truck, we should have one anyway with that. You know, there's a,
I like the book on myself.
you know, but I mean, it's, we can send away and get them,
Yeah.
you know, you get 25, 50 at a time, whatever, you know, whatever we think we're gonna need.
Yeah.
I think there's probably 50 sheets in there, so probably good for 2 months, you know.
And it has all the
I mean, we can
check and clutch and mirrors and all that stuff. It's all,
But I mean, this place here, Keller is, it's on this one here. They also, they do a lot of stuff with the safety stuff, and they'll send you magazines and books
yeah.
on different safety updates and everything else too. It might be something that was with that Keller company that, you know, for the updated rules and regulations and stuff.
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think we should, you know, give
Oh,
this,
like you said, with John and Laura, let them look it over.
and then we can bring it up again?
Yep.
Okay.
And go from there.
No, I think that's a good idea. What do you guys think?
So I did contact the highway department to see what their form was and the police department. And the highway, I talked to Ron, I guess once a month Scott would do like an Excel sheet and put in the mileage. He was gonna send over a copy of that for me. And the police department has a very sophisticated system that's built into the whole police
Yeah.
program. And when Bob comes on Friday, he was gonna kind of give us a sample. It's a lot more sophisticated than our needs. You know, they have to sign in, you know, for the police, you know, cruisers, you know, there's a whole protocol in the police.
I think if we had something
It
with
was
the start
just
mileage and the finish
Yeah.
mileage, how many gallons of gas,
So what you got here is a good start.
and also
for us.
you know, if they're putting in 2 or 3 quarts of oil every
Yeah.
day or two, then we know that we got a problem going on,
Right.
or antifreeze, you know.
We are keeping track of that. I'm sorry, I should have brought it. It's in Rob's computer. Rob, every day he has each truck, each vehicle. You know, if we got like you said, we got tires, we put in oil.
But the
Get
thing
it
is, with
cleaned
something
up.
like this here, I mean,
Yeah.
even if we use one of the highway guys to drive one of our trucks,
Exactly, they
You know,
sign in on a truck and we
and
know
that way
who's
there,
driving it. Exactly.
you know, if one of our guys that aren't in it, somebody
'Cause
else is driving it.
I don't know who's in our truck.
Right.
So,
Can you tell me, do you know anything about the police station one? Has anybody seen that?
I haven't seen it.
Do they have that system where they can look at the TV screen and show where their cruisers are at any moment?
I don't think so. I think there's some union issues with that. I mean, we'd have to check with Debbie. I don't think so.
Because like Enpro's got a system.
Oh, I don't
that
know.
You can look at the screen.
Same,
see if it-
he can tell where
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are, how fast
They
we're
probably
going.
got the same thing. They can see how fast they're going,
Yep,
and they can see where they are, if they're on time, or, you know, when they're doing a run or something like that. It's a multitude of things that they have. I was just wondering if they had that system,
I don't
then
know.
maybe we could get in there, and then I could take care of all this thing about transportation, you know?
Yeah, I think that would be something Debbie Egan would have to look, you know, you have to inform the employee that you're tracking that kind of detail, I believe. I think there's some employment issues with that. I would definitely check with Debbie on something. That's a little more sophisticated than what we're talking about here.
Well, you told me the police department had a sophisticated system.
Yeah, I don't know what it looks like though,
Yeah.
Tim.
But they've had
I don't
that for
know what
about
it looks
15
like.
years, 10 or 15 years. But I
Yeah,
don't know. That's one thing we ought to check into though,
yeah,
and then maybe through Debbie.
yeah. You want a tracking system on the vehicles?
I don't want to create an expense here. I just want to know if it's down there, and, you know, it's sometimes it's nothing, just to
it's gonna be something,
include 3 or 4
all the trucks
vehicles.
have, they got this big screen board thing,
Yeah.
and they can call us if they're trying to get ahold of us, you know,
Oh, yeah,
a certain truck, or they can leave messages at all the trucks, you know,
yeah.
fuel at such and such place, I mean.
Pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I just think it's gonna be pretty pricey for,
Well, I don't want to buy it, but if
Keep
they
it-
had it, they might be able to
keep
put us on it for nothing.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know.
Tim,
We're thinking-
the only thing on the police that I know of, when they go to Knowles, they call and they'll say on the radio 11.2 gallons mileage, 28,408. And they car 14, it's all marked. Goes back to the station, there's a sheet on every vehicle.
Really?
So then the next day or whatever, they put in 4 points, so they know exactly mileage versus gas. And then if a car 14 needs a quart of oil, they put that, you know, they log it.
I mean, we can do the same thing with this book, I don't know if you saw that or
Yeah.
not, Jack, but. it would
No,
give
I
us a,
mean,
you
that's
know,
the way they do. I don't think they have a book. They get the, you know, the slip or whatever.
Yeah, but
They
they're on the
all
radio
do that,
all the time.
all the police vehicle.
This way here, she'd have a copy of it in the
Well,
office.
that's an easy thing you just proposed, I think, Roy, for you guys.
You know, start mileage, finish mileage, how many gallons or quarts of, you know, we put in of different things.
Yeah, you might not even have to fill your truck every day. Them cars are going 24/7. You might go 3 days, 4 days, right?
Exactly.
First day, you put mileage.
I mean,
in.
also, there's a spot there, remarks, so they can put down that, you know, tires are getting down. At least we know until all of a sudden we need tires, you know, month before, they're saying, you know, they're getting down.
I'm just thinking that over the years, you're gonna have probably a file cabinet full of these slips.
It doesn't mean we have to save them forever.
Nope,
Yeah.
you throw them.
Well, Tim, I'll probably put it into an Excel sheet and just keep that as backup information. I wouldn't store that, you know, in a filing cabinet for 20 years. you know,
I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
I mean, after 90 days, you can throw them out, or you get it on your
Yeah.
computer, you don't need them, you know?
Oh,
yeah,
it's-
I'm gonna
it's-
get it on the
it's
computer.
amazing that's what's
Yeah.
out there, because it's, it's electronic and it goes into storage,
Okay,
and
so
then
you
it
can
could be
look
a
into
thumb
it.
drive that has, 50 years worth of data on it,
You
but,
probably could do it from your phone, I don't,
yeah.
Who knows?
Well, I don't know, just maybe
Yeah.
touch base.
yeah, I'll check,
Um,
and Bob Barker will be here Friday, and he told me, you know, we did talk about it, and he said that he would show us the, like, the heading.
Right.
I didn't get into the sophistication of his system, you know, I didn't think we could afford it,
Mhm.
so I just kind of, you know, was looking to
I
make it
think we're better off to
something.
buy the dull
Yeah,
piece books and
Me
have
too.
them around for right now.
yeah, and they're easy. We could, you know, it's gonna be something we'll work on, you know. We are logging the miles every day. Jerry every morning logs, you know, we have been doing that anyway. So we'll just get it on a formal sheet so you can see each truck and what the logs are.
I mean, by doing something like this, I mean, at the end of the month, when we have a meeting,
Yeah, we
you
do
can
once
pull
a
it off on
month.
your computer,
Sure,
you give us a one sheet to
sure,
look over too, you know?
sure. The gas bill, when you go to sign the gas bill or something, I can attach the sheet to it. So you can see, you know, where we've been and what we're doing. I mean, that's easy. We pay the gas bill once a month, so I could attach it right to the gas bill.
Yeah, okay. And the other issue is we had a controversy going about John's vehicle
Right,
last meeting, so in the
I
process
still
of,
feel the same, you know,
Yeah.
so we have 3 members up there.
so I understand that. But what we did is we did some research and we found that John says that he had an original contract regarding him using the vehicle when he got hired. And that was like, what, 14 years ago?
Yeah, it wasn't a contract,
It was a verbal, okay. And then in 2007, there was a meeting where, for whatever reason, the vehicle was, they asked John to keep the vehicle here overnight, okay? Then 2009 came along, and then the board at that time decided to allow him to take the vehicle home. So that's what we're looking at for we need to make a decision, but.
I just feel more comfortable with three members vote on it and go whatever we're gonna do instead of you and I just go back.
I understand that, but John has volunteered not using the vehicle when he came back, and then he has a need right now because he's got a vehicle that's about to die. He needs to get it repaired, and he's got no vehicle.
The thing is right now, Tim, if something happens in the middle of the night, we need John back here. And we're short help as it is, and we need the superintendent here.
Well, we're in the midst of a fiscal crisis with, the fuel and everything else.
Well, the fuel thing, we gotta get this straightened out, because we're not even on the discount. We don't get a discount.
Well, I'm just saying that.
Shouldn't.
We
We should.
We're not on it.
Why?
That's another thing. That's
Well, it
another.
should have been looked, everyone else does. We even do, we only
You said
buy
it's
minimal
expensive.
of 10 gallons a month for the cemetery, and we still get our little, I don't know why, who fell asleep on that issue? You sure you checked it?
so, yeah, so I met with Pam on Monday, so following meeting, I went and met with Pam with our bills, and the town procurement is only for the Raleigh Police Department. So Debbie, I did talk to Debbie, and she's gonna go out and procure the whole town together, including the water and the highway. I don't know about the cemetery. There are some agreements with other town departments and that I can't speak to, but Pam did tell me that other departments have agreements, and Debbie's gonna look into those also. So, we are paying pump price, so when I looked at my bill for $4.11, that's a real number we were paying. So,
Did you sign the bills today?
Is that regular or high test?
I'm sure it was regular, I
it
didn't look
sounds
at
like
that.
diesel to me.
411 would have been diesel.
Yeah,
Diesel was 420 and it just came down 15 cents to 405.
You can
I
get
just
it for
happened to pull out, that last bill I had, Stu,
Georgetown.
but we're on it now, and we are gonna procure it with the town. And
You want a
Debbie,
discount now?
no, we cannot, because we're not part of the town procurement.
What the police did is they put it out to bids, and then the lowest bidder, nobody bid on it, but Pam. So Pam gave them a discount. So many percentage below a gallon of their price. Or so many cents above the gallon that she pays, or whatever. So, they went out and they did the procurement routine on that, and then the police department only got one bid, and it was Pam, and they needed fuel, so they entered into an agreement with her on that. So everybody assumed that they were getting a discount, but they had an account with them to be able to have them to bill it on a monthly basis or whatever, and the bill would come through, and everybody thought, including the other departments, whether they were getting a discount or not. Nobody ever checked it. So I don't know. That's about as much as I know. I think the only people getting discounts are the police department, according to what you found
There
out.
is another department I can't speak to that
Yeah.
is getting a discount.
Okay. So that was like a
But she
department.
told me that, so
Yeah.
I haven't checked with
Yeah,
that
so-
department. So when we were comparing ourselves to those two departments, those two people were getting discounts and we weren't. So, and that was pretty clear Monday.
Light bill today. For highway, it was a big discount. I signed it, I didn't know how much it was today.
So we're looking into it, Jack, and Debbie.
Definitely, you
Talk
should
to
look
Debbie.
into it.
And
Yeah.
hopefully we can get that straightened out
A lot of
soon.
money you're gonna save there.
Yeah, and you know, we cut our
Good, yeah.
budget.
I was just under the impression the whole town got it. I didn't realize only certain departments.
Well, I'm surprised to hear that, but I can't talk with it.
Well, we're surprised about a lot of things. So,
Yeah.
but, you have to start prying to figure out what's going on, with anything you got going on. So, and then, these things, this assumption probably goes back 20 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
You know? But we don't pay, because we're in a town account, we don't pay taxes because we're a
Of
town.
course not, of course-
Yeah.
that's, and I clearly
So she does all
saw
the
that.
paperwork for
Yeah.
that, and then with the police department or the other department, she does get a discount.
Right,
But, so getting back to John with his vehicle, and John has volunteered not to take his vehicle back and forth to home because of the fiscal crisis we're in. And, but he has a need right now. What I suggest we do is,
Well,
vote to give it for a month, so he can at least get back and forth to work
I mean,
while he gets his car fixed.
not to grind on it, but, the 14 years I worked here, I came back and worked on emergencies. I never got paid overtime for anything. I'm on call 24/7, 365. I don't get paid for that. The guys get paid to be on call, but I don't.
Well, you get comp time, don't you, John?
You get up to 80 hours of comp time, but I've had years where I've had 200 hours of overtime. And we've had a lot of troubles. And I'm not saying forever. For an interim period, if I can get a good car and get something squared away, and I know the town's trying to save money, but
So I would
No,
recommend that a month.
I put a lot of service in,
I have no problem with it.
that I didn't get paid for. I never complain about that, I know. So, it's up to you guys. What you think.
Well, I recommend that we, extend it for a month, just to, and then revisit the topic a month from now.
I'll second that.
And, I don't think we have to second it, but I think what we gotta do is, we gotta get it in writing, and then the vehicle, is only gonna be used to transport himself from the Raleigh proper to his house and back.
Again, right.
Yeah, so there's nothing like,
No,
personal use,
no,
grocery shopping, or any kind of.
no,
so.
you never do that stuff, that's,
So I know, but so, that's, that would be a question on many people's mind here, so you gotta put the statement out.
Yeah.
So,
No, I agree.
not that you're not abusing that, John, it's just like we gotta put it out.
No.
That's the condition of, you know, using.
I've
the
always been very careful with it. I've never had an accident in 14 years. I've always taken very good care of the vehicle.
Back when we-
This will allow you the time to get your personal vehicle back in shape. And
Yeah, I mean,
I wish you'd show the other guys how to keep clean inside like you did that one.
Oh, no, Jerry's been doing, I have to tell you, Jerry's been doing it. He was actually vacuuming out the other day.
you always take good care
He
of it.
does, he
but
does a good
it's,
job.
It pays you back in aces, you know.
Anything else on the vehicle usage?
Well, I guess we gotta put a motion together about this. Number one, I make a motion that they look at these forms, check with the fire department, police department, and look at these other things that might be available to people in the town. And also, you know, we do an interim thing with John to allow him to, you know, get back on his feet with his vehicle, his personal vehicles, to be able to transport back and forth, because it's, right now, it's rather difficult for you to get back and forth, right?
Yeah, yeah, I got some mechanical
And then
problems.
the condition is to, you know, only for transportation to and from his house. And
We'll do it.
A month period, and then a mileage log, just to, you know, keep sure that we, you know,
Yeah.
we're observing
Same as-
everybody in here.
Same
We're not
as
just-
this
Well, we make it till the
South
end of April, right? April 30th, then we'll discuss it in the meeting that we have somewhere near the 30th.
Okay. So that's the motion.
Now, second it. All in favor?
All right.
Thank you very much, appreciate that.
Anything else under that? You want? Tim?
No, I don't think so.
You wanna go to number 5?
I think it was the-
I don't think we're gonna go anywhere with that, but.
Garage update. There's one thing I wanted to bring up on that. I'm not so sure that the instant alarm bill should be into that mix over there with that tally. So I think what we ought to do is we ought to revisit that and maybe bring it up at, are we supposed to be at the selectmen's meeting? Next
Haven't
Monday,
heard
or-
that yet.
Well, we need to make a request, maybe a letter to the selectmen that they allow this charge to be paid, because we want to make sure that that vendor is satisfied, because he's doing other work for us, and he's helped us out tremendously over in the past to help us out with the alarms.
This is instant alarm on the garage.
Well, we thought it was in the garage. I think it's partly in the garage, but it's mostly an operational thing for the whole department. So let's try to get some of these things off our plate.
Well, I mean, by code, we've gotta take care of these, I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the reasoning behind it. So it's similar to the computer company that we had, that had,
Right.
you know, do the work. So we were able to get that off the plate with this capital expense. Let's do the same thing with instant alarm. And I still think that there might be some more money left in that budget for the capital expense for the garage. So I don't know if there's a tally there that they have certified. You might want to check with that, see if there's any.
There's
other
no
amount.
money left, Tim, in that line. I'll take, the answer
Okay.
to that is no.
All right.
So,
we have no choice on having the alarms in the buildings. I mean, it's the town law, state law anyway, correct?
Code.
Yeah, they had to do that anyway. And it was
Yes, sir.
it was more connected to the overall operation and maintenance of the department. Correct me if I'm wrong. You
that's
think?
correct. Yep.
It's my understanding that bill cannot be paid until there's an article passes a town meeting, the special meeting.
I heard that, and it could be the case, Dewey, but I think if we move it up into that department, they're gonna look at that, and they're gonna say, well, there is justification to pay it, but they're gonna make the call on us. We're just pushing it upstairs, so they're gonna check that too, They're gonna check that and everything, a lot of other things too, so. This is like an effort to, start clearing up that thing. So we need to, at some point in time, you need to come up with a tally on the whole thing and then try to figure out what's gonna happen, because the next, we bring up the articles yet?
That's the next
That's the
thing.
That's the next article. So then when we're talking about the articles, we're talking about what to do about that incident, that subject, and we're not gonna do anything about it yet. We're still gathering information to try to figure out how to legally and everything else take care of it, so. It's gotta be cleared up some way, one way or the other.
So what are you're getting to, the prior bills?
I'm just talking about,
The alarm.
well, I'm talking about, we were thinking about putting a motion together for an article to cover that expense. We're not gonna do that until we get all the facts together. But in amongst those bills, there's one bill called instant alarm that was said, okay, put it on hold. What we're gonna do tonight is to put that forward to downtown, to have them revisit that one bill, that only that one bill, to pay it under the maintenance line, not a capital expense line. Because I think we got justification for that, similar to what we did before when we did it with the computer company that ran, coordinated the wire and then connected all the computers and got them operational. So do we need a motion or something to move that up? Or I think we need a motion in a letter, right?
So I'll draft a letter and send it over to Debbie,
With
the
that-
Board of Selectmen, so that you can bring it up on your agenda and.
Yeah. So the motion will be,
I think I know what you want me to do.
Yeah. let's revisit that and then bring it up, because I think we have justification to pay that bill.
Okay.
And then, that's the motion, and then you have to write a letter.
Right,
And then John can sign it as superintendent.
right.
And then Roy seconds it, all in favor, I guess?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, one quick question. How much was that bill you just talked about? Roughly.
Do you have the number of the?
I thought it was like $1,400. I'd have to go back, to be honest with you.
Just
It's around $1,000 too.
Yeah. There was a few big ones, but that was like,
Okay.
no. And there's a lot of small ones, and my thought was maybe if we had still money in the budget for the capital expense, which Laura says we don't, then we could knock off a few of those small bills. It was like some bills from Yankee Fine, it might have been $40, something like that. That might be able to be released because there was money in that budget line, but if you could check into that, then, there might be something. I know that you've been on top of that. Okay.
No. But we can do, that's in the pending of these special articles. I mean, we can talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
See what town hall wants to do.
Means you wanna go to the special one?
Yeah, I didn't mark, these are all drafts, they're really rough.
Okay.
Just so that, I should have marked them all draft tonight, I didn't. So the first article for the special town meeting is for the refunding of the debt for this building. When they refunded, the principal line was short $1,500, and the interest line was short $780. So this would be a transfer from the interim loan for the treatment plant to those debt lines, and that's the first article that's attached. The second article is the acting superintendent article for $2,352.96. And what I did was I broke out my days as acting superintendent, and I did the difference of my regular pay between John's salary and mine. But I did work 169 hours overtime in the last 2 months that I will not get compensated for. But I did lay out every day and every hour I worked. So I put in another, 169 hours. But, I think this is a good article. I really would hope people would support it. And it would be a transfer from the wage line into my line as a business manager. And I attached, the sheet and all the hours I worked, overtime versus regular.
So you actually worked 169 hours overtime?
Yep.
She's here every single Saturday, I think. Every
Yes.
time I go by, you were here.
Many 14-hour days when I started adding this up. Many days.
Well, I lived up the street and I couldn't believe how many times I saw her car here. I stopped it several times.
But like
6
John
o'clock at night, your car was here. You're supposed to go home like everybody else at 3:30.
But like John said, we're really short-staffed here. And it's, right now we have 4 open positions. And that's the reality. We have 3 people now working, 3.5 people working here. It's just unbelievable.
Jack, did they lift the hiring freeze for the primary and the secondary?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So what
Monday night,
four positions we have?
So when can we post that?
Primary, 2
she gonna
secondaries,
post-
and 3.
You
Yeah.
know, post them?
Forgot about Marie.
They're posted,
Oh, they are posted?
posted yesterday.
Good, good.
And how long is that posting, how long do they post that before they
14
start?
days, eh?
10, I think.
It's
Yeah.
10 businesses.
And is that posted just downtown or is it on that?
I don't know, you'd have to call Debbie.
Right,
They're on the bulletin board down there, but I mean, I think it goes out to the general register on that.
You don't put
Jobs.
something in the paper or some community, municipal paper or anything?
I don't think so.
What about the Waterworks Society in Massachusetts or anything like that? Is that something that you could call up and find out if we could post those two? Say that we're not gonna post it through them, but we'll say this position's available that might be going on the site. Has anybody ever looked into that?
Well, there's the Windward Waterworks and there's Mass Waterworks.
Yeah.
And MMA, Mass Municipal Association.
What about Monster.com and?
Craigslist.
Yeah. No, it'd be nice if we got the word out, so we need to get candidates.
Well, I think there's some candidates, but they're probably,
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you, I think maybe if you could look into that.
We all set on number 2?
Yeah, so these are drafts now.
Yeah.
They're, I have to work a little bit on the notes section.
What's this?
Draft number 1.
Okay, it's draft number 1, that's good word, and I will mark them all draft. Okay, so now these are the next group, the next 6 articles are transfers from our free cash to articles, not to Article 6. These would be new articles. So the first one we have is for unemployment benefit for $25,000, and that's pretty straightforward. The filing cabinets for the business office, Roy, I did look into different companies, and tomorrow.
Could I just make one comment
Sure.
about the unemployment? We
Sure.
have to do that because we don't pay into a fund.
Right,
So that the unemployment has to come out of our budget.
right, so the general fund, if you look, I brought the general fund always funds unemployment.
Yeah.
We never did before. So, in Article 5, so it's just following the protocol. and there's a line item in here, I don't know what line, but they do fund unemployment in their article, and we're gonna fund unemployment,
Okay.
in, the enterprise.
I'm just, if somebody was listening to this, they would say, well, why isn't just mass unemployment paying for it? They don't, it's
Oh,
not like
right,
that.
right, I'm
It's
sorry.
different.
Yep.
We pay for our own unemployment.
Right. So, any other questions on that one, Tim?
Nope.
Okay, so the next one was the filing cabinets, and, I'm kinda looking into like the selectmen have, the 4-drawer filing cabinet system, and to buy 2 filing cabinets. This one happens to be $409. There's some, different brands and different prices, and tomorrow, actually, Marie's gonna be here, so she told me she'd call around and get 3 quotes. That number probably will come down a little bit, maybe $100.
2 gonna be enough for what you need?
Definitely to start, and if anybody has any free filing cabinets
Well, I have
they
one
wanna
that-
donate
it's
to the
earmarked
water
for them.
department,
But, I
we
gotta
could
make
use
sure I
them.
do it properly.
Yeah, we could use the filing cabinets, we have enough. We're gonna have a procurement filing cabinet, we need, all the warrants and the vendors and all the purchase orders need to go into another 4-drawer file. There's so many
I mean, I've got an
bills.
old one out in the garage like this I'm not using, I don't know, that's something like,
Hey,
it's an oldie, I
we
mean,
don't care,
I also
I don't
got
care.
I also got a map filing cabinet. It's,
well, that would be a bonus.
Yeah.
We would definitely be interested in that, you saw the maps,
I mentioned to you before, John. It's
Yeah.
like your map thing.
Flat file.
that would be a bonus, Tim.
Yeah.
Because those are very expensive, filing cabinet. I looked into those over the years. that
Maybe I
was
won't
here.
donate it.
Okay, I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Thanks, I didn't know that, Laura.
They are.
Roy
I would
and,
put that one on Craigslist.
Roy and Tim, if you're gonna donate or
I
anyone,
know.
you gotta write a letter to the board selectmen to accept the donation.
Okay,
That's something we,
I remember
Do
that.
it.
That was like
It's
2 months
policy.
ago.
yeah, no, I'm just saying, I've
I mean,
got one
it's
up there,
good
it's an
people
oldie, I don't know
donate.
if she wanted it.
we get a couple things
I don't think it
donated.
locks, but,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Just drop a letter and we approve it. And just something another thing that's created. We gotta do.
I know. That's a procedure, yeah.
Yeah.
The next article really is now our fence, keys and alarm policy, and Jim talked a little bit about the alarms tonight. John and I know there's a section of fence at well 3, and the keys are going to be keys just for the wells and the treatment plant, and they all need to be switched over. And
Okay.
we got prices on all of that. That's a pretty good number, depending on what happens here on Friday, what that proposal comes in at. The safety equipment, John, you just started looking at that with me today. Is there anything you want to take out of that or add to that?
No, I think that's a pretty good number. Most of this stuff, by the time you add it up, the tripod, the D harness,
so we do need all that, we can't
the lanyard.
cover us with the
Well, that
crane
was-
in the backhoe.
That was a recommendation by the
DEP, that's part of,
confined space entry.
yeah.
And we gotta make sure our men are,
Train.
get the certification in confined space.
Right.
And that's in Form 5 under training. That's one of the training that we were going to do.
What do they have to do, that OSHA trading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a couple of those.
Yeah, I've done that, the 8-hour thing.
It's just like the 8-hour thing, but they used to cover it in the 8-hour confined space, but now they have a separate thing covering it.
The next article is a new one. Talked a little bit to Debbie about this one today. So the fiscal team, we would have to go back to the fiscal team on this one. It's for standing operating procedures for the water department. To have a book put together with our practices, what chemical, how to control the lime, and it'll go through what the lime is, what our baggage, what the procedure is, and we're gonna go through everything in the water department and create one book. So any new employee that, you know, is hired and people that work here.
So it'll be
know-
like a employee handbook.
Yes, for the water department. And we'll incorporate some of the personnel, union contracts and things like that in it. But this would be, to start really looking at procedures in the water department. I got a couple of prices on this, it's expensive, I need help doing this. I'll try to do as much as I can, but, I already have two companies, so $8,000 is a good price. We'll procure that, we'll go out and procure it. But I would hope that people would support this article. It's needed in the water department, especially with the number of people that we're getting, new people here. It's a good time to set the rules, understand the workplace, what we expect of our employees,
Exactly.
and how to do their job. So anybody that does anything will know exactly what the protocol is.
Do we have
It'll
an
be approved by
SOP?
the selectmen.
Do we have an SOP now?
Not for the whole operation, no.
What do we have for SOPs?
What they gave us, I went in and Haley Ward did the new well and the treatment facilities. They gave us a manual just for those facilities. But beyond that, there's nothing for the,
Well, are we gonna get an SOP when we get the new treatment plant? Are they gonna give us one?
We're gonna get an operating manual. This would be a little different. This is gonna say, you know, at 7 o'clock, we're gonna do well rounds, and this is how you're gonna do well rounds. How you handle a water break. This is gonna be a complete water department package. Not just, you know, what the operating procedure is. We'll incorporate that, and that's why this number's a little low, because I'm assuming that we're going to, you know, incorporate the handbook from the treatment plant, which we will get, will be incorporated into the same language that we have for everything that we do here. From the day, you know, the time you show up, you know, logging in the
Yep.
logbook, whatever we want, it'll all be part of the standard operating procedure that everybody will get a copy
Yeah,
and
I
sign.
think there's an importance to that, but I'm not sure why we can't do it in-house.
I looked at them, I have one on my desk right now. I mean, if you want me to do that, Tim,
Oh, you're the business
You're-
manager, I mean, we gotta
you're gonna have to
supervise.
you're gonna have to get me somebody to work here. I can't do it, I can't
Well,
keep
no,
up
we're
with the
gonna
work
get
that I have.
We're gonna be hiring a primary operator. We got a superintendent that's got oodles and oodles of years of experience. I'm not sure why we can't get it done in-house. I'm
Because
just,
you have to type it, you have to make sure that it meets DEP standards. We have a consent order in front of us that the first 5 pages
Yeah.
are the rules and regs.
did they,
And I am gonna have on every
Okay.
single one of those pages, DEP's rules and regs, along with what the town of Raleigh's, you know, workplace rules are, and I'm assuming there's a bylaw or something, that needs to, and what you, the water commissioners, want, and how these people do. That is, I mean, sure, we can do something that looks sort of like a draft, but we need a document that's real and efficient and everybody understands. I'm really pretty strong about having this document,
mhm.
and if you feel that I should do it, I'd be happy to do it, because I think it's that important.
Well, the thing is, if, you know, to get all the different DEP stuff, it's probably better
It's
off to,
huge.
you know, and to make sure it's all in there in the right way, and
Sure.
maybe we should do it that way.
I'm just thinking that, you know, we're gonna be spending $13 million on a treatment plant. And it's hard to believe that they wouldn't come out with SOP.
That's still just one part of the job, Tim.
Well, for the whole operation.
For everything.
Yeah, but
For
you know,
everything.
the big thing with the treatment plant is that's gonna be mostly the operation, and then distribution's gonna be part of it, so maybe Weston and Sampson has one that would fit our needs that they already have, so,
Well, we have to procure this, Tim.
yeah.
We can't, we're not gonna just assume that, you know, we're gonna go out and procure it for the town of Raleigh Water
You
Department.
know, so,
I mean, there's probably a lot of things that we'll add in that we want, you know, like mandatory, they have to come for a water break and, you know, all this kind of stuff.
Well, you're gonna have, the town has like a personnel handbook, I believe, right? Is there a handbook in town that says, okay, the employee's got so many days off, they report to so many, or they get so many sick days and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got SOPs for the treatment plant, we already have now, the treatment buildings we have for the wells.
Yeah, but they're gonna change.
That's gonna change because all that water's gonna be funneled over to, what is, the well down at the ball field, is that gonna change?
Yes. The corrosion control process will change.
Okay. I thought that well was gonna go directly to the tank, because it was gonna just pretty much be self-standing.
Well, I mean, they all are interconnected.
They're all keyed in, correct?
Right. It goes where the demand is, if it doesn't go to the tank.
Yeah, but that well is not gonna go to the treatment plant and then back out to the tank.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that's
That'll
not gonna change at all.
And the motor center inside the pump house is gonna change.
Okay.
The control center.
I agree, we need to have somebody bring this all together, so I'm just saying that we need to, you know,
Well,
See if
we can hold on that one if you like and bring it back at a later time. And if you want me to do it, then I have to figure out how I'm gonna do that on top of everything else I do.
no, I don't want you to do it.
Honestly, right now, it's bad timing for me to, you know, take on a project. of
No,
that.
no, I'm not talking.
You know, I wanna.
So how soon does this have to be done? Well, we're not gonna get any money until
I think
April.
part of the consent order is
man,
gonna be, the
June,
consent
July.
order.
We can't spend this until July anyway, right?
No, this is in the special, so I think we'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
But I think it's May 30th is what I'm hoping, that they give us at least 30 days to do this,
Yeah.
or 60 days, I don't know.
Okay,
And if I have to do it
let's put it up,
myself-
let's put it in the motion, and I think 8,000, I guess, is, you know,
Good start.
good start.
And the last article in the special is gonna be for the emergency certified operator. As of today, we spent $3,800. You haven't seen that bill yet, it's coming. We anticipate other needs, for emergency services, probably for another 30 days. And this is procured. I do have other bids from other temporary contractors. That number probably will come down in the next week, but I just threw that out there.
Where is this now?
So this is article, emergency certified operator, and this is to cover, for the purpose of covering a certified operator oversight and emergency interim operations for the unforeseen
Okay,
water department staffing needs.
and the 12,000 came from,
I just put that number in there. We are now having private, you know, for on-call on weekends. Weston Sampson has been doing, they did last weekend, they're gonna pick up this weekend.
do you think it's gonna be 12,000?
It'll probably be a little less than that.
Okay.
I think it'll probably be, you know,
To cover this expense of this stuff that's going on
what's going
right
on now
Okay.
for the operator.
All right.
But that was a guess right there. And then the last articles who are not written yet, so I kind of want to just throw them out there. These were pending articles that we had talked about. Oh, I have the numbers wrong there, I'm sorry. Pending articles over the last couple of months we talked about was the garage article.
We should put that on.
We gotta do something, we gotta pay them. So we gotta have something in there. They vote it down, I guess.
We had the truck replacement for 5 and 10, so
We're gonna hold that
we're gonna
for
put
this
that on
year.
hold.
Well, I mean, let's discuss that a little bit. So, you know, I talked about it earlier, but right now, what I would recommend is we just get more research done before we decide on the articles. It's not gonna meet the time frame. Other than, it might happen in the next several weeks next week, I think, actually, because it's April 1st, everything's
Right,
gotta
by
be in.
next Friday is the deadline
When
here.
April 1st comes around, and you know,
Everything
Yeah, we
is,
already took out the trucks out of the thing in our budget. So that's definitely on hold
yeah.
for till next year.
right.
I'm gonna just keep this pending ideas out there, because if you want, I could put that into the capital plan, the 5-year capital plan, and shift all the vehicles down. We can talk about that later. I haven't done that yet, Roy.
Now, this gate valve exercise, you were saying we really need, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one we got, you know, we repaired a few times.
And this helps because the gate valves are open and closed more often, is that what?
Yeah, well, it's for exercise and valves, and they also use it during water breaks, just so you're able to shut things down quicker.
But this would save us money in the long run with the valves.
If you don't use the
We cross
valve,
that so bad.
if you don't use the valve, it's gonna corrode shut.
Yeah,
It'll open it up,
it's
and you're digging it up, so.
yeah.
So I think we should put that in.
So I can write that one for next, for the next meeting. I'll move that one up to free cash.
Well, didn't they agree to, well, so it's a capital,
That's a one-time capital expense, so that has to be an article. We learned that.
okay.
That's something that's very loud and clear.
So the gate exercise,
It's equipment, it's an asset to the water department.
why no, but we didn't have an article for that?
No, we had talked about it, but the fiscal team never, we got directions from the articles up here.
I thought that was something we did every year regardless, it was something we always did,
What's that?
exercise the valves.
Oh, yeah, we're
You
exercising.
have been.
Yeah.
So, why do we need an article, something we're already doing?
It's new equipment.
No,
It's
it's
a
the machine
tool.
itself,
Oh, you're buying a machine to,
Yeah.
the terminal.
okay.
John, what is it? It's a long,
Yeah, it has a hydraulic or electrically operated turnstile with a long handle, and when you put the key on the gate valve, you slide this over it and actuate it, and it turns the valve down, turns it back up.
How did they do it in the olden days?
Hand crank.
That's why you
So
see
can
so
we
many
do that?
guys with
Can
roller
we do
cups
that for
on.
a year before we, we're trying to keep the cost down because the rates increase, so, can we do that for a year?
The rule of thumb with a gate valve is it takes 3 times plus 3 the diameter of the pipe to shut the valve. So if you got a 12-inch water main,
So it's 3 times 12, it's 36 times, you gotta open and shut it.
it's 36 turns plus 3 is 39 turns to shut it once.
Yeah,
And it's 39 turns to open it up.
and so how many times do you have to
And
exercise?
they're not easy turns. I mean, you got
Yeah,
2 guys on a key pulling for all they're worth, trying to turn these things down because they're old and they're crusty. And,
You don't have electric one now?
I got electric one now, and it works. And we've had troubles with the counters going on it. The cord keeps, for some reason, I had the cord professionally repaired, and it still keeps coming out of the socket on the handle. And there's something about water and electricity that just if you're doing this in the middle of a rainstorm or with water shooting out of the gate box, it's kind of testy. So they do make hydraulic ones that you can run off the hydraulic takeoffs on the crane truck, as a power source.
well, can we put it off till next year? Can we use what we got now to do it without sacrificing anything with the operations?
I couldn't guarantee you how long that one will keep functioning.
Okay.
That
Doesn't mean we're gonna get it. We're gonna make an article out and see if they vote.
That one goes back 20
How much is it, John, for that?
plus years. And usually they're around 5,000 or 6,000 just for the turner, and Most units, they have a power pack that goes with them, a hydraulic power pack, but we have a hydraulic system
Do we rent them?
on the crane truck that you can use in place of the power pack.
Can we rent them for, how many valves are you gonna do?
680 valves.
Every year we do 680 valves?
Well,
We try.
we try to exit, like the hydrants, you know,
Well, we have the
we do
people.
all 300 hydrant, you know, when we're flushing, we're opening up the hydrants. I think it's something that, what I've seen in the year and a half, it's needed. I mean, we really gotta take care of these valves, because to replace them, you're talking $7,000 or $8,000 in parts. One of the gate valves, $6,500, we got one part on a gate valve is, I mean, you break one of these babies and, you know, it's gonna cost you more than the exerciser.
Oh, I know, but if we already
Yeah.
have one and.
It's not
still-
working, Tim, it's not.
So it's not working, so we gotta get a new one.
It's sporadic. Right? The trouble is it has no counter on it either, because as a rule of thumb, when you're operating these things, you know what size the main is and you're counting the turns.
What happens
Because
if
what
it
happens
turns?
if you over torque it, you snap the gauge shaft,
Okay, so
and then you gotta do that.
there's a real problem here about creating a bigger problem by exercising the valves. But- So what do we?
If the guys are there having a hard time turning, they come 39 and they forget they went 37.
Well,
You
they
know.
won't be, well, they won't be able to go beyond that with Armstrong, right?
Well, believe me, after you've walked around, usually when you're doing it, there's a guy on each side of the key and you're walking around in a circle. And by the time you've walked around in the circle 39 times, you're doing the funny dance and you don't feel good.
Pulling them around.
And that's, and the job's only half done. You know, you gotta
What did we do last year?
back up again. We were using it last year. I had sent it down to a company in Gloucester to try to fix where the plug goes into the actual unit itself. And for whatever reason, the casing's worn or whatever. And,
How old is it, John?
oh, that was here back before, you know, with Robin. It's- well,
Right.
I think it's a valuable piece you need.
Put it in as an article.
It was a
and go
long,
from
long
there.
time ago, 20,
Huh?
you know.
That unit you're talking about now?
Yeah, that was
You
the,
got your money out of it.
Okay, so, yeah, let's put it in the article. So it's about, what is it, what's this?
Well, I put 5,000, John, do you want me to up that a little bit, or?
We're gonna
I
do,
got the blue book right in front of me.
Yeah, we can look at that number and firm it up.
okay, so,
I don't-
yeah, I agree with that, but we need it. Well, we should have a backup too.
On that next one,
Keep that,
Laura,
there's a backup, right?
what I'd like to see us
Does it-
do is maybe
Right
get some
now, it's
prices
cord held in with zip
for
tie.
just the fence. We ain't worrying about the roof and all that. This is for all the fittings and stuff. Like a chain link fence, like a dog kennel, but twice, 3 times the size. With the price of scrap metal right now being up, you can pick one of those things up and walk through the woods with it. You know, some of your fittings are cast and everything else. Just like a chain link dog pen, like we can put some of that stuff in so it can't be taken, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I can get some prices on that, you can help me.
What's that for your yard out back here, Roy?
Yeah, I mean, we get all the pieces of pipe, the fittings, and that stuff there. I mean, it's just, some of that stuff can be picked up and they can carry away, you know? With the price of steel up the way it is. We don't need a roof over it, just a chain link fence hooked to the building, I guess.
Okay, so we gotta be over there at 8 o'clock, so we gotta, so what's needed, we need a vote in, let's approve this, these articles?
Sure,
Okay, so I make a motion that we approve these articles and knowing that they're gonna be maybe modified slightly
This is
downtown.
draft one.
It's draft one, so
So I'll second the motion for draft one for, your
Okay.
articles.
So we have 9 articles right now for the
Okay.
special town meeting, is what I have on my list.
Yeah, we get the top 6,
Yep,
and then we did away with number 4 on the pending articles, right?
right, I've got it, and we're holding on 1, 2, and 4 at this point.
Only there's 3, 4, 5, and 6 on the pending article.
I know, I wrote the numbers wrong, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, so.
So the second one down, that's on hold.
Yeah, exactly. The truck is on hold, the garage is on hold, and we moved the gate valve up, and I'm gonna get a price on the fence. So right now, we'll put hold on that until next week,
Okay.
and I'll bring it back, Roy, so we can
What are we
just.
gonna do with this garage article, man? Somebody's gonna be to address this.
See, I think that's a question, that I can't answer, but,
I think we'll know more in the next month.
okay,
Okay?
all right.
401 Central on piping, 8,000. Did I miss
So-
something here?
So what Roy just asked me to do was.
That was when we was gonna put the roof off in the back of the new garage and everything else. What I'm saying is, maybe we should just we even gonna go the whole length of the garage, something that John can check out and look at, but just a fenced-in thing, use the back wall, and a fenced-in thing where we can put these pipes, so instead of sitting out here in the yard, they can be picked up and put at least behind a fence that they can't get into. Because, I mean, any one of the gates, I mean, you can go underneath or over, or, it's not like it's a blocked in.
We onto the gates again?
But you know what I'm saying, just for the fittings and the flanges and the rubbers and everything that goes.
I know, but if the gates are working, we don't need to be securing an area behind.
They
us.
can pick those up and carry them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd just like to get a price and see what it costs for basically a dog kennel, is what I'm talking out there, 10 by 20, 10 by 15 or something like that, idea.
$8,000 for a fence?
No, that was when it was for the roof and everything.
Oh,
That's why I asked her to check on.
I get you. All right, so we got
Anything
the loop at Forest Ridge and Kathleen Circle update.
So Tim, I think you met with Brent, so and I have the plan there.
I spoke with Brent, and the issue was whether or not Kathleen Circle is actually an approved town road. Do you know anything about that, John or Stewie?
Kathleen Circle,
Across from my old house up on Naples.
I understand, what's the one that was approved a year or two ago?
That's what I thought that was.
Christopher, wasn't it?
I thought it was Kath.
I thought the whole thing was
I
about
think
it,
it-
no?
I think it was just Christopher.
So there was a question, but is it Quinn or who's the other guy? That's
Coughlin.
Mr. Coughlin is actually handling that with his law firm, so
Right.
I guess there was a question of whether or not we could have an easement on a street that we didn't know, and I think there was something like that, but he's been aware of the problem by the Concom, and he's gonna solve that riddle for us to our satisfaction.
Okay.
So we don't really have to get involved because
Yeah, he said he'd do all
yeah.
the legwork, it was just looking for our support.
See, where the problem arose is that our name is on the wetlands RDA or permit.
Excuse me, John, do you have an address book here? If it's where Dennis White lives, that road's been approved.
That's Christopher.
That's Christopher?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was just Christopher's too.
I thought it was the whole project that came out on the
I
Leslie
think
Road.
it's
Well,
John's right, it's just Christopher.
We're not gonna worry about it until
Problem with Kathleen was,
they tell us from the Concom that there's a problem.
Yeah, our records show Kathleen Circle. I put the article in the application there, John.
right, but
But
it
I
doesn't
don't-
say whether it was approved or
So
not.
I don't know, that's what our water mapping system shows, so,
See, they needed
That's
permission.
probably wrong.
Concom needed permission to
Well,
get on
Article
there.
32 of.
1988,
Yeah,
but that's, something's not right about that
Yes.
article.
well, it says, accept a portion of the street known as Kathleen Circle. But it's not the addition that says that it passed.
Right.
This is a cut from, proposed at town meeting.
But when we
It
put it
doesn't
up,
say voted so many yeas, so
Right.
many nay on it, so you can't tell if it's,
but when we put it on the assets for streets, when, but before you started, John, I have that on the assets as an accepted road, like you do when we accept a road,
oh, yeah.
we show it in our assets, so that's why I thought
Yeah.
that it was accepted, so.
Well, that goes along with chapter 92, I don't know if it's a chapter 90 road.
So they're looking into it, I guess there's some confusion.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We're gonna worry about it next week.
next week, okay, all right, good.
Do we have to sign this,
Yeah, if you don't mind, that's the payroll to be signed tonight.
right below where John is? Good enough?
Yeah, where am I?
And Miles Haley,
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't gone there yet.
That's from old.
Yeah, where, oh, yeah.
what do you wanna do with Miles Haley?
Just sign in.
Actually, I think you guys signed that one.
This one?
So, did you go through that?
Miles Haley lives in Newbury.
What are we supposed to do with the old business here? You got a pen I can borrow?
She's been just putting the stuff on, old business. She hasn't taken it off.
Okay.
That's the one that the guy wanted, the water from the Newbury.
Well, maybe I should, maybe,
What's
you
it
think
on
I should
hold?
call him up and say, look, let me come over, I'll take a look at this, and,
Well, you gotta go into the Parker Road.
well, it's up to him, so it's not
He's
us.
got that kind of dough.
Yeah. So we closing the meeting?
You wanna make a motion?
I make a motion to close it?
I'll second.
Aye.
Aye.